Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Gaming After Dark. Yes, I am back. Gaming After Dark is back, and I guarantee you're in for one hell of a ride. This isn't the introductory show, however. We go live with sort of the full rollout on October the 1st, which is Tuesday, October the 1st at 9:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Mountain Time, and I do believe that would be 8:30 Central. That will be the official rollout podcast. But yes, for those of you in the chat, for those of you who catch this on the replay, Newf Nukem is back. For those of you who couldn't wait for me to come back, thank you. I appreciate the warm welcome. I appreciate all the support I've been getting over the past couple of years. And I don't even know how long I've actually been out of the podcast scene, but I'm guessing it's probably been over a year. It feels like it's been a long time. And I definitely couldn't wait to get back at it. It's been something that a few people in the community kind of inspired me to take up the microphone again and definitely let me know that my views on gaming were certainly missed, at least by a select few. But it is good to be back. And like I said, I can't wait to get this rolling. Now, I do have to say, without going in, I hate to disappoint the fans of Gaming After Dark, the longtime fans, that the MAG, the middle-aged game guy, or Titan Drago are not part of this panel reveal. Those two guys obviously left this podcast simply because their lives got a little too busy and they could no longer accommodate the time slot. I've tried on several occasions to move days and times, but it still never worked out. So at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I wish both of them all the best. Mag is obviously doing extremely well for himself on Monday nights with Colt Eastwood and the XNC podcast. So again, congrats to the Mag. And speaking of the Mag, I will probably see him in a couple of weeks in Niagara Falls, Canada. I can't wait. Hopefully we can do something live for you then. But with any further ado, I will acknowledge the chat before bringing in my panel of people. We got some amazing people in the chat, some very familiar faces too, by the way, which is so good to see. It's very heartwarming. First guy in the room tonight was my good time, long time old friend, Stinkin' Corpse was in the building. Good to see you, Stinky. It's been a long time. We have Far Q in the house. It is good to see you too, my friend. The Boss Mod Lethal Papa is here. You know it's going to be a good show when Boss Mod Lethal Papa shows up with his band hammer in tow. I don't know if he's sticking around for the whole thing, but guaranteed if Papa's in the house, he will keep the idiots at bay. Splendiferous, another longtime fan, is here. It's great to see you too, my friend. We got Zarik, I think it is. Zarik, good to see you. We got Fazah, I do believe it's Frank. What's up, my brother? Good to see you here as well. Some great faces in the podcast chat already. We got Talos Ray, who's been a longtime fan of the show. It is good to see you. My longtime friend and co-panel member over at Gaming Good Morning Xbox, Eternal Shaddai, is in the building. It's good to see him. Longtime fan of the show as well. Joe Dunmore is in the building. Nobody does his intro quite like the Mag, but yes, Joe Dunmore is here. We got Stevie Mac 23 in the building right now. We got, speaking of the Mag, there he is. And look, he says it, Joe fucking Dunmore. Even said it in the chat. Look at that. Unbelievable. I'm just trying to catch up with the chat here, by the way. We got Solid White 731 in the building. We got Axel. Yes, the now host of Good Morning Xbox is hanging out with us. Good to see Axel here. Guaranteed Axel will probably be a guest on this show at some point as well. I'm sure Eternal Shaddai will be on here. Anybody that wants to be a guest on the show is certainly more than welcome. If they got something to talk about, just send me a DM, and I'll definitely do my best to have you on as a guest on Gaming After Dark. But anyway, guys, it is good to be back. It is good to be behind the microphone. I hope I sound good. I'm still doing this shit on my little ass Chromebook. Not the best piece of technology for anything complex, let me tell you. It's like a stupid kid sometimes. Doesn't know what it wants to do. But anyway, let's bring in our brand new panel. Super excited, okay? We've got a couple of guys that some of you may be familiar with, some of you may not. I'm going to start with a guy who I've been honored to be a guest on his podcast numerous times over the past couple of months. I found out he used to be a big fan of Gaming After Dark and the podcast I've done, and he's since been a really good friend and supporter. And I'm super happy to introduce to you guys someone that, again, stays true, tells it like it is, and is just super knowledgeable in games. And he's one of the guys that is hanging on by tooth and nail, trying to keep the physical medium going. I want to introduce you guys to the Game Complainers, aka Perry. Welcome. Oh, sorry.
Thanks for having me. I'm here.
There he is, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, like I said, this Chromebook is so slow. Sometimes you tap the button and it just it just stops in mid sentence. So welcome, Game Complainers, Gaming After Dark. You are now the official panel member number 1. How does it feel to be a part of, I guess, a podcast that you've initially called a pretty iconic podcast, one of the ones that that you caught on with me. So how does it feel now to be a panel member of this thing?
I never thought I would be a panel member on this show. I never thought I'd be talking to you, number 1. And, I used to watch years ago. It's crazy that I'm here right now doing this. So thank you.
Well, glad to have you here, man. I can't wait to hear, over the course of the next few months when we get really rolling, your take on the industry, where it's going, all that sort of stuff. And I want to reiterate with everybody as well that the panel members, they're multi-platform gamers. So we're not pony bots, we're not Xbots, we're not, Nintendo Switch heads, whatever the hell you want to call this shit. We're gamers. We play on everything. Perry plays on PC, he plays on everything. Yep. Our next panel member plays on a lot of stuff as well. Yes, I think we're going to have some very similar opinions. I think we're going to have some difference of opinions. But at the end of the day, we're gamers. And I think the industry shares a lot of similarities. I think we share some similarities. And like I said, we're the old fossils of the industry right now. But, despite being old fossils, we're still the guys that spend an absolute fortune of money to support this industry. I don't feel the feeling's been mutual. You?
Yeah, I've spent a lot of money, and we'll get into it, but I don't think I got my investment back on a few, Xboxes.
Hey, well, that and Sony wants you to dump another, 950 Canadian, $699 US on another console, just several years after the PlayStation 5 has come out. So, but anyway, that's a topic we'll get into a little bit later on. But again, Perry, welcome. Once we bring in the next panel member, we'll just kind of go through some background stuff. What's going on to everybody in the chat? You guys are amazing. RWK88 is here. Good to see you, my brother. Thanks again for the support. And this next podcast panel member was kind of a no-brainer when I started thinking about things and who I wanted to bring on board. Someone that was a former podcast co-panel member with me many years back. But he's a very energetic individual. He can be very opinionated, just like myself. And I thought, you know what? Why not bring him back into the fold to give his 2 cents on the industry? I want everybody to welcome for the first time ever our newest panel member, number 3. It is Foxy Proto, or Proto Foxy, depending on the way his name is spelled on the screen. Welcome, my brother.
Welcome. And I'm sure some of the people in the chat right now are like, who the fuck are you scraping the bottom of the barrel for now? Man, holy hell. That was one hell of a freaking talk up that you're going to have me live up to here, huh?
Something to live up to. I set the standard very low. You guys know that.
Well, let's see if I can bring the bar a little lower.
Yeah, I've been at this over 10 years. I haven't even cracked 2,000 subs yet. So you know what? So apparently there's a lot more people that hate or can't stand me than they love me, apparently. So
hey, you know what? They always say controversy creates cash.
Yeah, I guess I'm not controversial enough, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We will certainly try. But here you go, guys. Proto Foxy, for those of you who aren't acquainted, he, like I said, we used to be co-panel members with his brother, Attack the Glitcher, way back when. You might remember as well that we had Jago Kukin. I do believe, didn't we have Primal Eve on that podcast?
Yeah, Primal Eve. I know, I got to say, hey, to Stinky. It's been a while since I've even heard that name. Hey, he was on there a couple of times. Few cats here and there over the whole little universe for video game podcasting, I think, made appearances.
Absolutely, yeah. The Game Dosage podcast. It was a great little show. Like I said, it was a bit short-lived, but we did have a fantastic panel. Yeah, and too bad, like I said, that your brother had to go AWOL so many times that it kind of just kiboshed the whole thing. But it is what it is.
Yep, that's exactly it. It is what it is. When you ain't got your heart in some kind in anything you're doing, it's just doomed to fail. And that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, it was fun while it lasted. I know that we tried to resurrect it a few times, but it just was never the same. So,
yeah.
But here we are, guys. Gaming After Dark. Let's shout out to the chat because we got another fantastic friend of the show in here with Mr. Dreadpool is hanging out with us in the chat.
Dreadpool. That's a name I ain't heard in a while either.
Oh, Dread is still around, going strong, baby. Don't forget to check out some of his episodes, Breaking Bread with Dread. And as well, like I said, Mag's in the chat. Mag, I'm hoping that I'll see you in Niagara Falls in a couple of weeks, actually bringing out the ball and chain with me. So it's going to be fun. I'll be double dating for a couple of days while I'm out there, probably.
It sounds like that's going to be a blast.
Oh, it's always a blast when me and the Mag get together, let me tell you. Our Rob is in the building. There you go, a guy who hasn't podcasted with me, but we play lots of video games together. Great guy to have on your team if you're playing some competitive throwdown multiplayer. Let me tell you, we got 19 amazing people here tonight. That's awesome. But anyway, let's get to some of the introductions for those of you who are not acquainted. And let's start with Mr. Perry up top. Perry, just tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of what kind of gaming you're into, what you've been up to in general.
I game pretty much on any platform. I love all platforms. I was mainly an Xbox guy. I got everything though. Got my own retro video game store, but we also sell like new stuff as well. So besides
Harry
that,
actually told me he wears his Virtual Boy to bed.
Oh man,
I do have one actually. Yes.
That's why he's got to wear the sunglasses. He still can't get his retinas fixed.
Yeah, big time.
He's seeing in monochrome.
Oh, man. I don't know if I can walk around like that.
Would you say that was probably Nintendo's worst blunder ever, though?
Yeah, that and the Wii U to an extent.
Yeah, but the Virtual Boy died as fast as it came out. I just don't think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was poorly marketed. It was a weird system, coming off of the Game Boy success, and they tried to tout it as somewhat of a portable, but it really wasn't much portable at all.
No, was not.
No. And again, Nintendo more for family gaming. When you're playing the Virtual Boy, you had to play it by yourself. You're kind of stuck with your head stuck in this goggle system.
Yeah, and you had to put your head down like you're leaning. It's like you're gonna break your neck playing this stupid thing.
It was brutal for sure. It was brutal.
But sorry to cut you off, my friend. Go ahead. Like I said, you play at almost everything. Do you have a platform that you kind of lean mostly toward, or a certain type of game that you really like?
I did lean towards Xbox until a couple of months ago, but I don't know what's going on there. We'll talk about that later. But PC is good to go. I build computers as well, so I've been doing that forever. I've been podcasting for almost 20 years. I started I've been on YouTube since 2006. So yeah.
Holy shit!
Started off with wrestling.
Yeah.
Used to do live wrestling shows or whatever, and then I transitioned over to gaming, and I kind of do both now. So it is what it is.
Well, we're gonna have a new tag team. We're gonna be a triple tag. We're gonna call ourselves Erecta Trifecta. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
I got the belts here.
I got them over there too.
Awesome. Any particular game that you like to gravitate to? I mean, have you tried the new Astrobot and all that stuff?
Yeah, I got it right here. I streamed Astrobot. I love the game. I think it's great. It's definitely a game that, all this drama going on with Xbox and PlayStation, I could just sit down and play that game and it's just fun. I don't have to worry about it. I can turn my brain off and just have fun. The controller with it is incredible. It's fantastic. They did a great job implementing all that, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game, and sure, it does borrow some mechanics or ideas, I suppose you could say, from some of Mario's games, but like you said, imitation's the sincerest form of flattery, right? Yep. You're not always going to be original. Heck, most games out there today are hard pressed to be 100% original. But the execution of Astrobot is off the charts. from the graphics to the throwback stuff within the game that really pays homage to Sony's history and their gaming history and to the fans. I mean, that's how you do some of these games is, again, you make something new, but you don't forget your past.
Exactly. And it feels like I'm playing a souped up version of like a PS1 game. It just reminds me of PlayStation 1. When you had variety, you didn't have this third person thing, which I understand is popular now, but I remember PlayStation 1 and 2, they just had variety, and that's what made the brand. And I wish they would go back to that.
Wholeheartedly agree. Wholeheartedly agree.
Well, it's kind of funny, because you see the movie industry really going back to some of its roots, even if they're doing just like remakes or reboots. And it seems like the game industry is almost like afraid to go back or stick with what works.
Right.
They keep trying to, again, I find the game industry right now is so guilty of trend setting. They're trying to chase all the trends instead of just like, you know what, like Astrobot is proof. You don't need a game to be 50 hours long. You don't have to spend $300 million to make a game. You can have a very passionate, dedicated team. You got to execute on the graphics, the play control. You make the levels fun and intuitive. And I think if you got the right ingredients, which they've had for a while, because every Astrobot game that's come out has been great. Like they've been all good games. This one is the pinnacle because I think it takes everything that the other ones did well and just expands on it, which is kind of like Mario has always been doing. Take what worked in other games, make it bigger, make it better, expand on it, and there you go. And they've done that very well. And I think, like I said, this game comes at a great time. It's just proof that the industry has gotten away from itself, and it spends too much time trying to capture the next lightning in a bottle like Fortnite or whatever, when this is sometimes exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, that it proves you don't have to remake The Last of Us Part 2 4 fucking times.
Right? Oh my God. It's even like the Borderlands movie flopped really, really hard, right? And again, you didn't have to reinvent the wheel here. All you had to do was is basically cater to the people that love the game first. We should have been the people they catered to, and they should have kept it true to the source material, not went out and fucking changed everything so you can appeal to fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry down the street that has no clue what Borderlands is even all about. Right?
Oh yeah. That whole mess of a thing, that really just shit the damn bed, and it just goes to show you. Hollywood sometimes doesn't know what not most of the time, doesn't know what the fuck it's doing. And then you take properties like that, and it's, you take it out of the hands of the people who actually care about it, and you give it that kind of treatment. It just goes to show you what happens.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just nuts. Yeah, and like I said, it's great. Yeah, you stream all the time. You got a channel. I mean, you want to plug here, let people know where they can find your material if they want to catch up with you. Like I said, you do some great streams. I know you and the wife, like I said, it's awesome that you're not only just a gamer and you play at everything and you love pretty much everything, but to have a significant other who also shares some of that passion is a rarity, and I think it's awesome. And I love the fact that she games and she's knowledgeable enough to talk about a lot of this stuff. It's great. So explain that a little bit.
Yeah, I'm on the Game Complainers on YouTube. Me, Frank, Anthony, and Fred host every Wednesday night at around 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So you can find us there. We have other shows, various shows throughout the week, but that's the main show right there. My wife, Pink Piggles, is in the chat. She has her own channel. She wanted to stream for a while, and we finally got her in. I built her a brand new computer, a pink computer, by the way. Everything was pink. And she's ready to go. And she actually does a podcast over at 4GQ TV with Dreadpool's wife, Death Dealer M85. So they do that every Sunday night at around 9:30 p.m. Eastern as well. So check them out there.
Cool.
And I got to shout out Dreadpool, because if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be in this chat with you guys right now. I probably wouldn't be on this panel with you guys. So Dreadpool gets all the credit.
Awesome.
Let's hail Dread and have one for him then.
Yep.
Dreadpool is one of the most straight up honest guys that you're going to find. in the gaming streets.
He's the best.
Ever since I've known him, he's just a straight up awesome guy.
Yep.
And again, shout out to Dredd, man. He's always kept it real. He's never, he's one of the few guys in this game that's been around for a while, but he's never been a jerk. He's never started bullshit. He's very knowledgeable. Can come in and talk the tech side of the game, talk about the games itself. But again, he's always kept it on the level, and respect to that, because there isn't a lot of guys out there like him.
Right. And my wife just likes the game, so I said, why don't you try to stream or whatever? We have a really good chat room over at Game Complainer, so I know that my guys will go over there and everything's fine. And so far, so good. Everything works out. Yeah. So she's happy, and I'm happy. Everybody's happy here.
Joe Dunmore in the chat. See, this is why I love my chat. He goes, I miss my ex-wife, but my aim is getting better.
I hear you, Joe.
Oh, fucking awesome. This is why, like I said, what a great chat, man. No, and absolutely, Dredd, and that's part of this too, is it's being respectful. It's giving respect and getting respect. And and I generally try to keep it respectful too, unless somebody is taking shots at me. And I've been pretty lucky and fortunate that for the most part, I haven't been overly controversial and tried to stay clear of certain things. That sort of stuff. But Proto.
Yes, sir.
Tell us what you've been up to, what you're playing, man. And like I said, how did you kind of get involved in all this stuff? And, tell us what it means to you now to be a member of Gaming After Dark.
Well, you and I, we were just talking about that before we went live. Going back, God, it had to start about 6 years ago. We were on Game Dosage together, and got the bug there, and that was a lot of fun. And I kept telling myself eventually I wanted to kind of do my own podcast thing, and I look at it this way: I am a jack of all trades and a master of none. So then when I try and find the time to do that stuff, and I'm always a day late and a dollar short to it. But as far as just what I've been doing is outside of just regular life, just kind of taking in whatever games I can. So, and the fact that I got the invite from you to come and be a part of this, I jumped at it, man. It's like, I've been wanting to yak my brains out for a little bit and see how many people I can call me a moron in the chat. That'd be fun.
Prepare yourself. It'll happen a lot on my podcast, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. I'm going to say something. And
opinions on Xbox, because I seem to have a very pro Xbox audience for the most part, and I can't blame it because I am a pro Xbox guy. I mean, I'm Xbox more than any other brand. Mm-hmm. But because I'm opinionated and because I'm honest, and I'm not saying my opinion is right, no more than Perry said his right and yours. Again, people have to remember it's an opinion. It's how we feel. Opinions are often based on how we feel. It doesn't make any of us right. But people only hear what they want to hear, right?
Oh, exactly.
You can go out and say, fucking Halo Infinite was an amazing game, right? One day, and they're like, oh, Newf loves Halo, he's an amazing. And then the next day you go, but this other game was just a bit of fucking hater, you fucking pony, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That's just
whatever they want to hear.
Well, right? That's all the social media noise, man. You get guys screaming into echo chambers and shit like that. Because, like you guys, and I've been, I don't want to say I was an Xbox guy because I'm on everything, man. I don't have a preferred platform. I play what I like, where I like. But I was down with Xbox since day one, going back to, the OG big black box back in 01, man, playing Halo and LAN parties and shit like that. So when a lot of, so every now and again, when I pop up on social media and guys are like, oh, you're just this, you're just that. It's like, dude, you don't even know. I was there giving Microsoft my money from 01 up until, just recently myself, it's like, I'm still giving them my money. I mean, they're still getting some Game Pass subs out of myself and my son. But I've, of course, dropped that down a little bit. We talked about that off the air, but I'm sure we'll get to it. But I dropped that down a little bit once the prices went up. I'm like, this just ain't worth it to me. But I talk about games like that. Like you mentioned Halo Infinite. Dude, I was there. No, I don't want to say day one. I bought it day one. I didn't get to play it until Christmas because I waited with my son to play it. But I played that on launch, man. it's like I game where I want. I don't give a damn what I'm playing on, whether it's on my PlayStation or whether it's on my Xbox or my Switch or any of my older consoles or PC, whatever. I could name everything I got and probably bore everybody to death with it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, ultimately, that's the right attitude. That's really, it doesn't matter. You play games. I think that's kind of really, you're almost echoing the sort of the mantra of Xbox these days is they don't really care how you play or where you play. They just want you to play. And at the end of the day, the more people playing means more money in pockets,
Yeah.
et cetera. But I mean, there's logistics and everything. And like I said, that's something we will get in down the road. But tonight we'll just keep it happy and dappy. We got some amazing people in the chat. Speaking of, the legendary Yobi is in the house. It's always good to see Yobi. He's been a long-time supporter of the show. He just said he hopes to see me stick to it, man. I know a lot of people said I was done and would never come back. Some people were, well, it's just like counting the days before Newf comes back. Look, I'm sorry. It's hard to stay away from this stuff because I do love it. And again, when I got a great panel like this and I got amazing chat like this, people that I've known now for years, how can you not come back and be excited about this? We got RWK. He drops a super chat, and I'm going to let Mr. Perry's going to read out the super chat. First one of the night, $1.99.
RWK with a $1.99 super chat. Really been looking forward to this show. Fire, fire, fire. Well, thank you, sir.
Very cool.
He must have ate some really spicy tacos.
Hopefully he washed them down with some Pacifico.
Well, like I said, Proto, it's so good to have you, man. It's been a long time, and I enjoyed our time together on, back on the Game Dosage podcast, and it's good to have you. It kind of feels like a lot of circles are kind of coming back around here. So, try to buy about the PSVR too.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that you asked me to come on. I'm glad I jumped at this opportunity.
Yeah, like, man, heck, even if you only have one console, that's the thing about us guys, whether you got 5 consoles and PC and you got everything, because we're genuine gamers, we live in and around the industry. So I think we pay attention to stuff. And this is something, again, that blows my mind because the game industry itself, it's like we're sitting right here. We're doing podcasts that sometimes are 3 and 4 hours long, talking about gaming, which means we're passionate about it. And it's like, why don't they come to us before they break a lot of these ideas? Because some of the ideas that are failing, it's like, let's take the Suicide Squad game, for example. How many people had their hand up for that game and said, yeah, go make it. That sounds like a great idea.
Oh,
right? And look what happened to the game. It flopped very, very hard. So like, it's like, don't they do any research or do they just consult with their team and go, yeah, that's a great idea. I think it's a go. Let's invest $200 million on it.
I think everyone's just trying to be the next Fortnite, and they think, okay, Warner Brothers, people like Warner Brothers, our movies are topping off. Just make this game. Everyone's going to buy it. And it's like, after the first trailer, it's like nobody wanted that game, but they had to stick to it because they put the money into it. And they kept going, and then it came out and it flopped because nobody wanted it. It's
a great point that you bring that up because obviously I think a large part was trying to capitalize on, one, the success of Rocksteady in the Batman franchise. 2, it was trying to capitalize on the sort of hit popularity of Harley Quinn, who became sort of almost larger than life over the past few years. I mean, remember a few years ago, like everybody was being Harley Quinn for Halloween?
Oh, yeah. It was all over.
For that. And then, it's funny you mention this because I think, again, this is part of the reason that the Concord failed so miserably because when they started Concord, a game like Overwatch was one of the big industry hitters and everybody was playing it. And you can see by the success of Overwatch 2, which was actually pretty dismal flop in itself, the industry has changed. So, like I said, what was a great idea 5 years ago is not necessarily a great idea today.
Oh, absolutely agreed. And I was when you started talking about Suicide Squad, I was going to add the whole little writer about Concord, and I think it's that whole thought process of the live service, like hero shooter thing, like you mentioned Overwatch, and then you got like your Fortnites and stuff like that. I think they chased that dragon enough to where people are finally tired of it, and you see something like a Suicide Squad or Concord, and Concord being even more colossal than Suicide Squad because it was only online for 12 days and then they yanked it. You know.
Well, like Frank just brought up, they thought that everybody was going to buy Avengers because it's a Marvel game, and a great point. And the funny thing was, I loved the demo. I loved the first level, and then the game just turned into a slog to me, and it turned into like every other game that has this like way too long a stretch. Like the story didn't seem overly cohesive and too much building up your characters. Like I always said to people, I said, you know what ruined it for me is when you're playing a guy like the Incredible Hulk, who should be able, like, he can't even destroy a human with a shield. Okay? Guy standing in front of you with a shield. This is the Hulk. I mean, the Hulk is one of the strongest superheroes on the planet, like in any comic thing. And like it made no sense. I mean, if there was giant Hulk creatures coming out that he had to pummel and short, and it was a little bit more of a one-on-one fight, I could dig it. But when you got a little puny human standing in front of me, he's got a little metal shield, and he can stand up and Hulk's pounding on him, I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like the Hulk. I feel just like a big green snot that's stuck on a boot. Like I shouldn't have to shake these things off.
No, and I agree with that. And again, it's that whole thing. It's chasing a specific model. They've made great games where you felt like that hero. You've had your different types of Marvel games where you felt like the Hulk or like Iron Man or whatever. And they just, again, it goes back into that whole chasing the live service thing. It's just so bad. And I missed a comment somebody brought up. I didn't see who did, where it was talking about Concord should have been free multiplayer. I wholeheartedly agree. That should have been like PC. Yeah, it should have been across the board on everything and free to play.
I would say that. I want to acknowledge people in the chat. I know there's a few people here that really love the game. And I know there was some people that really loved it. I know some people that really love Gotham Knights. And to each their own. There are people that like these games, but I think they're fewer and further between. And I don't know about you guys, but Proto, I don't know. The one thing that I always see now with any game that ruins it immediately for me, and I know I'm setting up to fail, as soon as they go, it's got season passes. And it's got this, you know what I mean? There's certain keywords now that come out when these games launch, and I cringe and I go, yep, it's going to be another one of those fucking games.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. You got them trigger words, man. Like you said, season pass and microtransactions and stuff like that. I mean, unfortunately, we can't get away from the shit no more. We can't. It's just a part of gaming now.
Spider-Man 2 has sold how many copies? So probably about 20 million copies now, or pretty close to it. I don't see any season bullshit with that.
No, you're right there, and that's a single player game, and they were going to try and shoehorn multiplayer in, and they canceled the shit out of that. But not everything needs it. But you see everybody wanting to chase that free to play money, wanting to chase that microtransaction money, and not everything lends itself to that thought process.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy. We got some more amazing people in the chat. Also, hello, Pink Piggles. Yes, you're welcome for the shout out earlier. It's glad to see you in the chat. Supporting your man and supporting the show, obviously. Jesse Derby, longtime fan of the show, is back in the chat. And I know Jesse will not be a satisfied man until he hears Cletus in the
oh man, Cletus
for the end of the night. And we got Milf Man, one of the best names in the podcast chat today. The Milf Man is here, so we know we're good. Yeah, like Joe Dummer, they're selling us 3/4 of the game, and some of that you start wondering how much is just, they build it and then they they just charge you for it down the road, even though it was there to begin with. It's kind of like back in the old days when it was like DLC and it was on the disc. It was like, it was on the disc because it'd be like locked behind like a 500 and something megabyte like update or some shit, but it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Portal, look, you're definitely right. I mean, this is something the game industry has to definitely acknowledge and take a hold of, is the long, lengthy development times of games. And I'm starting to wonder now if a lot of that has to do with, I think a lot of these teams are massively overstocked. I think that a lot of them are too big. And I think part of the layoffs we're seeing in the industry is largely because I think a lot of studios and publishers are realizing that they had a lot of redundant positions within their company. When they were making more money, they were hiring more people. And we all know how that goes. It's like sometimes you don't need more people. You just need more competent people who can do more things, and you can still build stuff. I mean, you look at a lot of the 360 and PlayStation 3 generation, their teams were way smaller, but yet they were pumping out games left, right, and center. We were getting like 4 and 5 games during that generation. You can't tell me that the game development has changed that much between the 360s and now. I mean, if anything, you think development times will get smaller because they got bigger, better engines. They got people that are more familiar with what they're building. But is it a lack of experience? Are they hiring just too many people? Like, you got 20 people in a sound department when realistically you could probably do it with 5. You know what I mean? So I think part of it is misconstrued because, and you got to remember, there's a lot of contractual positions now. People lay off people, but they were hired. And when the game is done and the game ships out the door, well, I'm sorry, you go out the door with it. It happens in every industry.
Yeah. When you do that contract work like that, that's just the way it goes. I think the whole and as far as the AAA gaming space goes, for me and the way I see it, it's more just overbloated. You got so many positions and so many people doing the same damn thing. And first off, you touched on the whole layoff situation. It's terrible. It is terrible to think of people losing their jobs and stuff like that, right? And they go in and talk about, like, in Microsoft's case, where they're talking about, oh, well, it's redundancies. I can see that, because it's like a lot of this stuff, and especially in the AAA gaming space, you got all of these people, and they're all supposed to be a one unified team, right? But ultimately, you got everybody pulling in different directions. It's too many cooks in the kitchen, man. And it's like,
I agree.
Yeah, and like you said, you would think with technology the way it is now, it should be faster, it should be easier, but we're seeing longer and longer times. I mean, and again, guys like us, we've been gaming since the early damn days, and it's just, you don't see this kind of overblow where you see, like, a game. You mentioned Spider-Man 2. How much did that game fucking cost to make? It was like 300 million or something like that. And I know a lot of that had to do with like licensing. But Jesus Christ, that's a Hollywood movie, man. And, it's so bloated, and it's a bloated bubble, and it's gonna pop, which is unfortunate to say. We're gonna see a major shift, at least the way I see it, soon, because it's gonna pop, and the body's gonna fall out.
What you got in your hands, Perry? What you got in your hands, Perry? Astrobot.
How long did it take to make this game? A year? 2 years?
Yeah. And what was this? 60-man team, right?
And it's fun. Were they working on it for 4 years, or did they probably start it in the last couple?
Well, here's the thing. Can you give me smaller games that are fun while you're making the big games? Maybe cut the big games down. Maybe, 2 big games a year, if even, or 1 big game every other year. Give me some smaller games like this. This is great. This is what PlayStation used to do.
And I keep coming back to this one because this is the most disappointing studio in history for me. It's Rare. What the fuck have those guys been making?
Oh my God! Don't get me started on fucking Rare.
Rare made about, how many games did Rare make during the 360 generation? And maybe about 6 or 7 if you include some of the Kinect shit they worked on. And now, since Xbox One came out, they made Sea of Thieves. One game, which was fucking incomplete when they launched it, is fucking better now. But one game. And you're going to tell me that company is worth keeping open for the one fucking game? And they have all these IPs and all these great games that people keep saying, can you please make? And they don't do it. Like, this is what I keep saying about Microsoft being out of fucking touch with their gaming community. Because if I was an executive right now, I'd be walking in there and saying, you know what? If you want your fucking doors open tomorrow and you guys want to have a job, you fucking make a Banjo fucking Kazooie right now.
Yeah, in a real one. Right?
Yeah, not nuts and bolts.
That's what I'd be fucking doing. I'd be in there like busting balls. There's no way to be like, yeah, I get it. Rare, your Sea of Thieves makes us money, but you know what? You can dedicate half of your team to just keep making your same fucking update. You don't need a massive studio, and then they build them some kind of, a fucking eco-friendly
the farm
shithole farm, probably cost $200 million. What? So you can make more updates to Sea of Thieves. So what did it go?
You got to milk the cows. Come on, Newf.
Yeah. Like of course you got to milk the fucking cows before you update it. Your moneymaker. It just makes sense, right?
Yeah, like Frank, why did they need to burn down producing? Like, what are you guys doing? Sunbathing underneath the glass? Like, you've made one fucking game. It's been over 10 years.
You know what's funny about that? They announced that barn during tax season. Like, hey, we got our tax write-off for Rare.
Yep.
You're closing fucking studios like the guys that made that Hi-Fi Rush, which is one of the best games that have come out in a while, and at least it was original and it didn't take 20 fucking years. But you close them down and you keep Rare open, and it's like, I don't get it. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Rare, but like to me, Rare means something completely different to the average gamer. Because to me, when I think of Rare, I think of playing like Donkey Kong Country, and I think of playing Banjo, and I think of playing even Cameo, probably one of the biggest IPs and coolest IPs that never did get a sequel. Like they have so much on the table. And it's just like, yeah, but we're cool just to sit here and plug away and add an extra fish to Sea of Thieves. And we'll add another season with a fucking Johnny Depp character. And now we'll put it on PlayStation so we don't have to make any more games because now it's making money over there.
Right. That was a whole plan all along. We're just going to port it over and just make our money elsewhere. And I'm going to do you one better, man. When I think of Rare, I'm thinking of like Battletoads, man.
Yeah.
And it's just like you got, like you said, you got
today, I think.
Oh, what's that?
I think it just hit the Switch online today, Battletoads.
Oh, nice. I didn't even keep up with
it came on.
But just thinking of all of that stuff, and like I know they got Perfect Dark in the pipeline, but to me that looked like shit. Like I'll call a spade right there. It looked awful.
That's not even made by Rare. That's the funniest thing. It's now being made by who's that studio?
The Initiative.
Is the Initiative doing it?
Doing that. So like they don't even giving their IPs to other studios and not making.
You got all these
Interactive, I think, is helping them or something. I don't remember.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, you got all these legendary IPs in Rare, and they, and you go back to them and they don't hold the weight they used to back in like the, you mentioned 360, but you had, the original Xbox. I mean, when they ported over, they started really shitting the bed when they ported over Conker's Bad Fur Day over to the original Xbox, because that was kind of rough. It wasn't as good as the N64 game. But when you go, and you do have some hits here and there on like, with the Xbox stuff. And then you go back and you see their further back catalog, what they did with Nintendo. And it's like, they just don't hold that same weight anymore. They haven't in decades.
The common argument is always, well, they don't have the same people that were there 15 or 20 years ago. And I get it, but that's every studio. Any studio that has longevity doesn't have a lot of the same people. But the thing is, you have the same core ideas. You have the same winning IPs. All you need is talent and hard work and a passion for the product, and it should translate. It's like a sports team. Not every sports team keeps all their fucking top players forever, but guess what? They go out, they draft good ones, or they bring in other ones that have similarities or fill those holes, and they still become a winning team. I mean, there's a reason the New York Yankees, they've lost players how many years, but they're still like one of the best ball teams, whether you love them or hate the Yankees. The fucking Yankees kick ass like almost every year. Why is that? Because they must have either good management, good drafting, and the money to do it. Well, Microsoft is definitely the New York Yankees of the gaming industry because they got fucking money coming to yin yang, but it's like they don't know how to spend it properly.
That, and they're getting to be just as hated as the Yankees.
Yeah, like Mojang. Mojang does Minecraft, but Mojang that's all they've done anyway. Like they've just been a Minecraft studio. And honestly, most of us hardcore gamers don't really give a shit because, I don't know. I guess I'm speaking for myself, but to me, Minecraft's a fiddly diddly game. That's the kind of game you play for 10 minutes. You could really give a rat's ass. People don't really like Minecraft to play it all day long. How old are they? Like fucking 10?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the times I've jumped into it with my son. So that tells you the mentality of where that's at. I mean, it's a moneymaker because kids buy it up. And it's also a moneymaker because it's also literally everywhere.
Yeah, Minecraft is probably Xbox biggest. You're not wrong there, Portal. It probably is.
Yeah.
Which is why they don't want to change it, but obviously they're going to go through staff changes as well. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, Rare was not known for one property. Rare was known for multiple properties. Rare was known for making multiple games. And I just don't understand how you can take the studio and let it be so stagnant right now. Like, is there no mandate for them to make any? Well, what they're making that what's that game they're making, that Everwild? Was it that nobody's fucking heard about now in 3 years?
Oh God, I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, I don't know why they call the studio Rare, because it's rare that they make a fucking game.
There you go.
Yeah. And it's the sad thing is because, like you said, they have the IPs. They got all you need is the people with the talent and the know-how. And hell, they've even still got the fucking code because they re-released that shit on Xbox One, man. They put out the Rare collection. What is it, anniversary or whatever it was, because I have it.
Yeah.
But so they still have, like, study the fucking code for God's sake, just like, hey, what did these guys do right? And that's with any damn IP, like we briefly mentioned Halo. You look at how Bungie's Halo was better than 343's Halo. Look at the fucking code. It's your IP. It's just you got different studios handling it. Take a look at the code, see what they did right. It can't be that fucking difficult. I'm not a dev, so I can't say, oh, it shouldn't be that difficult. It's easier said than done, but the stuff is there.
Well, here's something constant. Think about Super Mario Brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's always won. It's always had good graphics. It's always had good gameplay, right? But besides the graphics and the gameplay, the thing with Mario that's always consistent is that he always has what? He has the same enemy, right?
Yeah,
Bowser is typically his enemy all the time, right? Bowser's as iconic almost as Mario himself. And Darth Vader, right? Another guy. Like, when you think of any great property, you think of any great movie, the hero sometimes is only as good as the villain they go against. Like, what is Batman without a villain like the Joker or someone who's iconic? And games are much the same, but this is a problem. So you look at Gears, right? When Gears started, it had those iconic enemies and it had the iconic villain. And then it watered itself down. And then if you look the same thing with Halo, Halo started to lose like its identity. They started coming up with shit that people didn't like. They got to have an iconic enemy. And I don't know. I mean, I think it's Atreus is probably one of the most popular ones that people bring up.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just sort of an overgrown talking gorilla to me is not as cool as, say, like fucking somebody like the Arbiter, for example. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing, because you mentioned Atriox, and it's like, yeah, he was cool in Infinite, but the brutes were always more second fiddle to the elites anyway.
Well, the elites were fucking scary. When they cloak and they come out, those fucking swords, man. You start shitting the brick.
Yeah, I mean, I got a giant gorilla swinging a hammer at me. Yeah, I think I'm going to be scared for a minute, and then I'm going to bat it in the nuts and walk away. You got something you can't fucking see. And so yeah, I get what you're saying. You got your iconic hero character, you got your iconic villain character, and I think that's maybe where the plot is getting lost, so to speak.
Yeah, you got to have a great villain, and you got to have a creative team enough to again extend a series, so you don't necessarily kill the villain, right in your first game, and then you got to try to rewrite a story. You can make games like you make movies, sort of almost with a sequel in mind, sort of thing. Like you got a great story, and if that's how games essentially got to be, like maybe you start making games where it's kind of like Halo Part 1, and it's like you play like 5 hours of the game, and then it's kind of like to be continued kind of a thing, which I think for the Game Pass model actually wouldn't be a terrible idea.
No, not really. That would actually be a damn good idea if you think about it.
And it'd shorten down your development time, because again, you don't have to make a 20-hour game all in one shot. You make it in segments, and you can continue. You just need good story writers, right? And then a technical team to carry it through. And I think something like that could be really, really cool. And again, for Microsoft in particular, who wants to keep Game Pass at the forefront and keep reasons why people would keep subscribing, that's a pretty cool way of thinking. I mean, typically in the past, what was that, DLC?
Yeah, or even episodic content.
Yeah.
So I don't know, things like that. So I'm kind of getting off track here, boys, but industry's kind of nuts, and I think, like I said, they're losing sight of their core audience overall is the big thing.
I think they're subscribing to the whole Michael Bay game plan where they just make things go boom and look pretty, and there's no substance.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, honestly, a game like Hellblade 2, like I said, I loved everything what they tried to do. I honestly didn't like Hellblade 2 as much as the first game, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it does.
It was better in some ways. I mean, graphically, it's one of the most amazing games I've ever seen. But I didn't really like what they did with the combat. The puzzles weren't as annoying, definitely in the second game, but the combat just felt weird to me. Like how they did it, sort of like mano a mano, was kind of like a one-on-one kind of a deal. I didn't like that. I thought it was going to be more free flowing, where the combat would feel a little bit more, say, AKA God of War style combat, where it's a little bit more melee and traversal and multiple enemies, and not just kind of this one guy walks up and you dodge left, dodge right, roll, and then fucking strike him until your little mirror lights up and you go nuts. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and I get what you're saying, where you prefer Hellblade 1 to 2, because I'm actually in that same boat, and it's for a lot of those reasons. It's just the combat for me falls flat because of that whole, you're focused and it's one-on-one. It's like I can see maybe what they were trying to do, make it a bit more visceral, but if you were going to try and make it more visceral, go all the way, you're going to, in situations like that, and then we're talking in a video game here, but in situations like that, you're not going to be just facing one person at a time. You're going to be getting jumped, right? That would make more sense to me. And I feel like it, just like how you had said, where the combat felt flat. And once and being that that's the basis of the gameplay, once that falls flat, the whole thing comes down like a house of cards,
So here we are anyway, guys. Maybe just to change the subject just a little bit here, but we are, like I said, into almost October. So we're now sort of in the meat and potatoes of the year. There's still a few releases yet to come out. Obviously, one of the most popular ones being Call of Duty Black Ops 6. But as it stands right now, what would be each of your guys' potential game of the year at this point? Perry, let's go with you.
I don't even know, man. Like,
well, isn't that weird?
Astrobot's
not a good thing or a bad thing, though, that you don't know? Because, like, does it mean because you played so many great games this year, you think this year's been lackluster?
Yeah, well, I didn't play that Wukong game, but I think that's going to win like Game of the Year at the Game Awards. But personally, I didn't play that. I've only played Astrobot, like a newer game. I don't think that's Game of the Year. I mean, it's a fun game and everything, but when I see people tweeting, "Oh, it's Game of the Year," I'm like, "Come on, guys." Hellblade 2 was all right. I beat the game. I enjoyed it. I didn't play the first one. I just jumped into the second one. So eventually, I go back and play the first one. Graphically, great game. They could have added some stuff in there, more combat, in my opinion, but maybe that's not the type of game that needs more combat. I have no idea because I didn't play the first one, like I just said. So, Game of the Year, I really don't know. The Call of Duty is coming out. The campaign seems really cool. I'm going to buy that on PlayStation 5, by the way.
You're not gonna buy a Series X and then subscribe to Game Pass?
I got those all over the house, and I unsubscribed live on the air from Game Pass. Phil Spencer's not getting my cut. So I'm done. I'm done with that.
Like I said, we still got a few more months left in the year, so what game are you looking forward to that may have that potential?
I really don't know. What's the third party? The Power Ranger game. How about that?
The Power Ranger game?
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is coming out.
Yeah, I think that's actually a 16-bit throwback, ain't it?
Yeah, that's my game of the year. All right, I'll tell you right now. I haven't even played it yet.
It does look good.
Yeah, and it has 5-player online, so I'm down.
Yeah.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see them make a Ninja Turtles game, but using the Mortal Kombat digitization technology and actually, the movie Ninja Turtles?
Yeah,
have all the old school ones. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
those guys are in
Ninja Turtle movies, those ones, but have them in the game instead of like a pixelated fucking character. You know what I mean?
They're in Injustice 2, by the way. You could play as them.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was really awesome.
Fucking dope.
The Patrick Star game is coming out. Yes, that's right, but that's not my game of the year. That might be her game of the year.
How about you, Foxy? Anything that obviously at this point, what's probably been your game of the year Canada up to this point, and anything you're looking forward to in the next little bit?
Well, I haven't played Astrobot yet. I haven't gotten around to it, so I'm looking forward to that. God, as far as this is going to sound, I'm probably going to get a few thumbs down in the chat here. But to be completely honest with you, what I'm dividing my time between, Helldivers 2. I've had a blast with that game. You know, to me, it's just fun. Yeah, I get the whole, community being up in arms about shit getting for updates or whatever. I never really noticed it because I didn't play the whole meta or whatever like that. I just picked what I liked and went for it. I was having a blast, and I was in hell. There's even times where I sat and played for a couple hours solo runs just because I was having that much fun with it. So I would say probably, yeah. So as far as what I've currently played, that is come out this year, I should say, because I've been dumping my time into another game, but we'll get into that, another point. But Helldivers 2, probably.
Two-Pad Stack in the chat, he says Final Fantasy Rebirth is by far his game of the year, that's a pretty good call. And
there you go.
That game had dropped this year. It's amazing. Look
Brand
at that.
new.
Oh,
for the Pro.
There you go, baby. Right there. I tell you, Perry's got them all.
I got that Pro and pop this game in first.
I don't know about game of the year, but Foxy, I do like your pick. Helldivers was a big surprise for me. A friend of mine bought me a copy of it, a physical copy, and I had a lot of fun with it. It was a good game. Honestly, I need to go back and play it a bit more. So if anybody wants to play Helldivers at some point, let me know. And if anybody has a PlayStation VR 2 in this fucking chat, please let me know, because I've got some games on it that I really want to play with people. I just picked up Crossfire Sierra Squad, and it's freaking awesome. And it's a fun-ass game, so pick it up if you don't have it. It's a military shooter, but it's so good, and it's a fun co-op. So, yeah, if you got a PSVR 2, guys, hook me up, and let's go play some games. But anyway, go ahead, Spencer. Helldivers 2. Anything else, or what are you excited about?
Well, actually, what I'm excited about is more coming out next year, and that's going to be Doom: The Dark Ages. Yep. That game looks like that's going to be fucking intense, man. And I'm a massive Doom fan since the beginning. So it's like I've liked every iteration that they put out, and then with the reboot in 2016 and then Eternal, I dumped 70 hours into each of those games. Wow. So I know I'm going to dump at least 70 hours into Dark Ages.
That gun that shoots the skulls was pretty dope.
Oh my god, that looked incredible. And then the whole freaking buzzsaw shield. I mean, but that's next year. I mean, I guess for this year, I think Black Ops 6 has me pretty excited because I dive in and out of Call of Duty. Like I'll like certain ones, I'll like dislike other ones, but I know the Black Ops series, sub-series is ones that I've always enjoyed, with the exception of 3 and 4, because those games were trash. But Black Ops 6 looks like it's going to be cool. It's being, and the time period really interests me because it's set in the Gulf War and that kind of stuff. And that's, all of us here, we grew up around that time. So that's going to be kind of cool to see their take on that. And, but yeah, outside of that, yeah, Black Ops for this year.
Joe Dunmore picked a good one in the chat that I had seen that I think is going to be a really cool game. That's South of Midnight on the Xbox.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one looks interesting. That one's definitely one I'm going to check out.
And for me, I'm going to say at this point in time, I'm going to have to give it Astrobot as my game of the year, because it's just that fun. It's the kind of game you pick up and it's hard to put down. That's always a great sign for me, is when you play a game, you think about a game, you play a game, and when you beat a game, you still want to go back and play it again. Right. And all the Astrobots, I think, have been phenomenal games. I actually wish, the only thing that, to me, they didn't capitalize on, I can't believe they didn't make this for VR, like a VR version of this game, because the original PlayStation VR that had Astrobot Rescue Mission was absolutely phenomenal in VR.
Yeah, and that would make sense. You would think that maybe they got it in the pipeline and they'll do one of those ones where they'll re-release it just to get you to buy it
Yeah,
again.
if they have an update, I think they'd kill it. Like it's just Astrobot, like it lent because it's the controller and all the haptics and then with the VR. If you've ever played the first one on PSVR, you know what I'm talking about. You'll know that it was a hell of a game in VR. Like just being able to look around the world and feel like you were playing with a little toy Astrobot was pretty freaking cool. But the two that I'm really looking for this year, kind of almost three. I mean, Black Ops, yes, I'm definitely tempted to get it. I'll probably pick up a copy. But the two that I'm most excited for at this point are Assassin's Creed Shadows. It looks amazing to me, and I'm super excited for it simply because I've always wanted to play an Assassin's Creed in feudal Japan. And if it has if it's even half as good as Ghost of Tsushima, then I think we're in for a real treat. And the other game is going to be Indiana Jones. I mean, the fact that it's made by the guys that make
Those machine games, I know that.
machine games that make the Wolfenstein series, and they're amazing shooters. If they can do this game, the story right, which by the trailers I've seen, it looks amazing. Yeah, I definitely can't wait to get that game. And yes, I'll be buying a full $90 copy up here in Canada if they put it on disc at all.
Yeah, that's going to be the caveat, right?
Right.
And I had forgot about Indiana Jones. I forgot that was coming out this year on Xbox. That's definitely that one is something that's got my interest peaked.
Yeah, it's Indiana Jones. I mean, it's too bad he's not releasing alongside of the movie kind of a deal. Would have been kind of, it's always an extra bonus, an extra marketing ploy when you can do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So I don't know, but at this point, I'm going to say, I don't know, like, one of the best games I played this year, but I think it came out last year. That Final Fantasy 16 was amazing. I'm still playing through that actually, but I think that was last year's game, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Well, it just came out on PC today, so
Hellblade it's up there. Hellblade 2 is certainly one of my favorite games of the year, but I think it just fell short of the mark. So I don't want to say it's my game of the year because it did. I felt as good as it was. I was still disappointed. Graphically, no, it didn't disappoint. That part was like, wow. If you want to see a game that takes graphics to a new level, that's certainly the game. But graphics aren't everything, and I felt like it. It took a few steps forward, but a few steps back. So, what's that? Oh. Yeah, Phil Spencer.
I stole that joke from Fred. Fred is on my panel.
Oh man.
He said that one day.
Surprise games guys of the year. Would you say one of the surprise has to be that first Descendant game that came out, which has been extremely popular. Lots of people playing it. I really enjoyed that game.
That I haven't checked out First Descent. I know there was what was the one that just come out and everybody flipped the shit over because of the chick?
A Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade. That was definitely a bit of a surprise.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I told you Perry's getting it all.
He's on top of it.
Perry's a game fucking pimp. Look at that guy. Look at that. Now, don't tell me that's the guy who hates PlayStation. No, he just fucking buys everything, right? Like,
yeah.
That's always the funny thing, right? You guys fucking hate you fucking hate Xbox, and then you show them your collection, like, dude, I bet you I got fucking way more games than you guys who call us haters.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's you can be critical of something and still purchase what you like.
No, I hate
bad about everybody.
All the new fucking controllers, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I really hate these guys, but I just give them my money nonchalantly,
Yep, yeah.
I have an Xbox and a PlayStation in every room in the house. I have more PlayStations than Xboxes. When I complain about them, people get mad at me. I'm like, bro, I got more consoles than you do. It's like I can say whatever I want. Don't come in here and like tell me that I'm a fanboy for one or the other. It's like, I could do MTV Cribs right now in my basement. You'll see Xbox Series X empty boxes up to the ceiling.
It's the same thing here, man. I got a living room set up. I got my bedroom set up, and then my son has his bedroom set up. Shit, I've got an arcade cabinet in my fucking kitchen.
Nice.
So,
and by the way, we bought these things with our own money, not mommy and daddy bought you an Xbox because you needed to play, whatever.
Right, well, exactly.
There's that, and I don't know about you guys. I can't speak for you, but I got no I got no companies sending me free games and free samples and this, that, and they're trying to buy my favoritism. So my fucking opinions are honest.
You beat me to that punch, because as soon as he said mommy and daddy, I was going, or you don't have Phil Spencer sending you free game codes because he took you out to lunch.
Or you don't have Phil Spencer flying you all over the world trying to sleep with you. That's another one, too. I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah. This is
I think a lot of these influencers, I think they're like sex slaves of Phil Spencer. I don't know.
The way they act, they could be.
I don't work there. They're just flying me places. It's like,
give praise when it's due, no doubt.
I heard that when the Xbox handheld comes out, if you buy it, Phil Spencer's going to sleep with you.
Then I'm buying him the handheld, because I got to see what this is all about.
Bro, I mean, come on.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but the handheld is actually just a green dildo with a big Xbox logo on it.
Oh, it still is a handheld.
Well, it's Game Pass approved, right up your asshole for $20 a month.
And then you got to pay extra for the vibrator.
Exactly, you got to pay for the 2 terabytes.
Yep.
And this is Gaming After Dark, folks. If you didn't like the humor now, you trust me, this is not the podcast for you.
Make sure you put the kids to bed, and then you make sure I'm getting the looks from the wife right now as she walks out. She's taking the dog out right now. She's like, "Oh my God, what did I just walk into?"
That's it. Anything goes on this show, man. Pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, keep it real. And like I said, we'll give praise when praise is due. I'm not just here to just 100% bash. There's lots of stuff to be positive about too.
Oh right. Yeah. It's I
can't all be just negative. That's not how we run. Because you could look at it 2 ways too, right? As sort of as pissed off as maybe a few of us are that Xbox is putting some of their games on PlayStation. You could also look at it from the other perspective, in that it's a positive that they're putting stuff on PlayStation. Do you know what I mean? I guess it depends on how you want to look at the scenario, because obviously, PlayStation gamers are going to get a chance to play some of these games that originally they thought they weren't, which means they still have to spend the money to go out and buy them, which in turn, becomes bank for Microsoft. More people are playing the game, and I think for all of us at the end of the day, if more money into the gaming publishers and the divisions means we get more games and we get more sequels to games that we love, because again, it finds a bigger audience. That's great. But I guess the sad part is that, Sony doesn't play ball the other way either. Sony is keeping their stuff in their ecosystem, and rightfully so, because they rely on their consoles as part of what pushes their games, and vice versa. Xbox used to do that, and then Xbox stopped doing it. So it's kind of weird how that all worked out. So
yeah, and it's like, and you can't forget the Nintendo elephant in the room either. You don't see Nintendo giving up Mario or Link over unless it's a cameo appearance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. MLB The Show does not count, because that was not Sony's doing. If that was Sony's doing, they would never have had it on Xbox, period. That was an MLB thing, and to keep the license, they had no other choice but to put that shit on other consoles, which, in turn for Sony, they're probably sitting back and laughing behind closed doors, because they're looking at all the fucking money they're making. People are buying the Switch, and the people are downloading it for Xbox and to put it on Game Pass. I'm sure Microsoft's ponying up money to put it there.
Yeah, there's all kinds of licensing, being that it's a Sony studio. And it's the thing, at the end of the day, it all boils down to money, so it's all good business. You can be a salty, gamer all you want, because I can tell you right now, as cool as I think it is at the prospect of playing stuff like Indiana Jones on my PS5 or whatever, I still look at my Xbox consoles and I look, man, this used to mean something.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? And
that's come from the same feeling on that. It used to mean something.
And that's where I guess my bit of the discourse comes in. It's like, yeah, sure, it's great. Kumbaya, money's being made. Everybody's fucking happy, right? But at the same time, you got guys who had supported them from day one and pumped in thousands of dollars of their hard-earned money into this ecosystem, into, whatever. And it's just like, that's what gets me. It's like, yeah, at the end of the day, you're not going to change it. What's happening is happening. And I'll say it right now, and I'm sure 100 other people have fucking said it, is that it's unprecedented. I mean, when we saw Sega giving up Sonic on, Nintendo and Sony stuff, they were out of the console game.
Yeah.
And that was huge. And now we're seeing a different kind of shift because Microsoft is still pushing, kind of pushing, because their marketing sucks. If you don't count all the stands on social media pushing it for them, their marketing is absolutely terrible, and they've come out and admitted that themselves.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, not only are they pushing that initiative with the consoles, obviously your day and date on PC, which is the reason why I'm not buying a Series X. I don't need it. I got a gaming PC. But now they're even doing that stuff on freaking, the Amazon Fire Stick. And I mean, hey, good for them. They're gonna make their money.
That just sound really fucking weird. I'm gonna play Xbox games on my Amazon Fire Stick.
And I
can't play the biggest game of the year, Call of Duty, because it's excluded from the Fire Stick.
That's like saying you're gonna play with your wife's pussy at grandma's house. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's at the end of the day, it's money, and everybody's happy because the businessmen are happy. But like I said, being an old school cat like I am, and seeing that stuff, it's like, man, it used to mean something.
But don't you think, again, some of the residual, like, it's all about making more money, but when the hardcore people who traditionally spend thousands are now going to spend far, far less, aren't they not going to lose there too?
They sold us out for $20 a month, Newf.
Yeah, that's true. $20 a month. When you look at it, the grand scheme of things, when you're pushing, and you can even look at, let's take the Nintendo Wii, right? When you're pushing a more casual audience, some of these games are more hardcore gamers, like your Indiana Jones, your Call of Duty, stuff like that. But when you give these cats access everywhere to it, it's almost like you're still kind of saying, well, now we can get that casual crowd in. Now you're not going full in like the Nintendo Wii did, where you had the waggle remote and you were catering to grandma, grandpa, and your dog. But it's that same principle. We want more eyes on the product, and I get it. It makes sense. But in the grand scheme of things, those hardcore, Xbox cats, the guys who pump that kind of money into them, that's a small spoke in the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Guys like us, where we spent the money on their hardware and their software and stuff, and even these guys out there buying 20 different fucking Pro controllers at $100, $200 a crack, who display them with hoodies on walls and shit. Those are small spokes in the wheel.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, because there's not one of us in this party. There's not one of us on this panel, and I bet you there's very few in the chat that have not only owned every console, but most of us have owned multiple versions of said console.
I can tell you, I've got 3 360s in my house right now. I've gone through probably 5 in total because I had 2 Red Ring on me. I've got 2 Xbox Ones. I still have the original Beast. I mean, I gave him my money.
See, that's just it. See, back in the 360 days, Xbox felt that we were important enough that it wasn't worth pissing off the hardcore gamers, but so they fixed the red rings of death for people, right?
They did.
They fixed $1 billion fucking problem because they didn't want to lose hardcore gamers because we were buying the console, and now they don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah, because they saw that shift wherever it shifted.
Buy a Fire fucking stick, like, you know what? So we can spend $20. So $20 a month is better to them than a guy who's buying multiple Xboxes a year and hundreds of games.
Because that's good. Because that $20 a month turns into $240 a year. You multiply that by X amount of users, and especially we go making the cracks about the Fire Stick. You got somebody who's going to subscribe to that on a Fire Stick, and they ain't got to go buy that. That's guaranteed revenue at that point.
Yeah,
and that's the whole subscription model. That's how that's going to work for them going forward. And kudos to them. They're going to make their money, man. I don't like it. I don't have to like it. I don't pay to like it because I
totally get it. But the thing is, can they not find a way to make both of the ecosystems within their company work? So one for the hardcore and one for, again, more of the casual audience that just wants to fucking, that just wants to pay the subscription fee. Like I've always said all along, like Game Pass itself, like they should have had, like I don't believe in the day and date thing. To me, that's one of the biggest downfalls of that service, was putting stuff in. Like, to me, it was unnecessary. I get the reason they did it, because it was like one of those no-brainer selling things. It was like to get people to rope in, to get people almost like a guaranteed buy. Was telling me, yeah, we're going to put Halo and Forza and all these games on their day one. But I don't think it was necessary. I think they could still been extremely successful if they had at least left a 6-month window. Because people that really wanted to, say, buy a Gears game would have went up and bought it. And guess what?
Yeah.
Probably would have bought it again. Or played it again through Game Pass, and then they would have essentially had a digital version, and they would have had a physical version, or whatever, or they would have bought you know what I mean? Like, essentially, they could have sold the game a couple of times and still did really well. What's 6 friggin' months?
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. I agree wholeheartedly with you on that. I think day and date was the dagger to the heart, so to speak. But going back to your original question, can they? Yes, they can. Will they? Probably not. Do they want to? More than likely not. Because it's all what's giving them the money now.
Yep.
And it's like where they can look at, your charts and your graphs, and you got all these suits sitting up there and saying, well, we got this hardcore crowd, but we're getting more money from people just subscribing. You know what I mean? Of course, anybody can cater to both and be successful. Anybody can do that. It's will they do it? Do they want to do it? And 9 times out of 10, it's no.
Okay. Well, I'm going to post a question in the chat, and I want to see how many no's and yeses I get to this. And that is,
it's definitely a good question.
Will you still play Xbox in the future without a console? And I want to know in the chat, and be honest. So if they don't make a console, say they're probably already well invested in the next one. But after that, it's anybody's guess. So if they no longer make a console, will you guys on this panel and people in the chat, would you still play Xbox? Or are you just going to find an alternative way to play it, whether it's on PC or through a Fire Stick or a streaming device, however? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I can tell you my answer now, and it's what I'm doing now is that's PC.
PC.
It's like I've said before, all I got to do is nickel and dime some stuff there, and I can get back to being top of the line, whatever, and I can have everything looking as pretty as I want it. I don't need to go out and buy hardware at that point. And I think that's that's where most people, and maybe it's just me thinking that, maybe I'm generalizing, but maybe it's where most people are going to sit.
Well, I think you guys have answered something that I've suspected for a while. It feels like Xbox is just trying to drive people to the PC so they can get out of the console business.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm already seeing popping up in the chat where people are even saying that too. PC, I'm already there and don't need it anymore.
Can I ask you guys something?
Go ahead, drop it.
The whole thing with this whole thing. Oh man, I just went blank. This went blank. Okay. Who the hell's going to buy the next Xbox anyway? With the way they've been treating the hardcores this generation, who's really going to go out there and buy the next Xbox? Even if it's $700. Which, by the way, they did have a console this year at $700, a SpongeBob edition.
Yes, they did.
But nobody brings it up. The Pro is evil. But
yeah,
I think Sony saw that and was like, oh, wow, that's sold out at Best Buy? $700 for Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Well, this is what I say about when stuff sells at a high price, it sets a precedent. I always thought, and a lot of people said, when the Xbox first announced the Elite controllers, and they're like up here in Canada, I think at least 150, and I was like, fuck, that's never going to sell. Guess what? They sold out.
I mean, there was kind of a market for that with the SCUF controllers, so they kind of got in between that market a little bit.
But then it went from 150 and it got even more expensive, in the second iteration. Like, where do we draw the line? And I guess the whole industry said, because look at the headsets. One time $80 to $100 was an expensive headset. Now where people are out there buying multiple headsets at $250, $300 a piece for a headset.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fucking wild, man.
I wait till they're $49.99.
Yeah, that's where I'm sitting. If I need one that bad, I'm gonna wait till they go on sale. $40.
Is the audio so good in a $300 headset that my balls fucking tingle or something? Like, what is it?
I mean, it better at that point. It better fucking make my balls tingle, cook me dinner, and then fucking cradle me to bed. Shit. You know? Tuck me in and kiss me on the forehead and tell me what a good boy I am.
I can only hear so much fucking sounds at one time. You know what I mean?
Right. You know? But yeah, it's just going back to that whole thing you said about setting a precedent, and that's what it's done, and that's where we're at now. You know, it's just going to be that arms race. It's just going to keep getting higher and higher.
Back in the Genesis, Super Nintendo days, and maybe even a few consoles after that, remember when they had like peripherals would come out, and if they were fucking overpriced, they were like DOA.
Yep.
Right? Look at a lot of those light guns and all those extra add-ons that came out for most of the systems. I mean, one of the reasons the Sega CD fucking didn't take off was because it was well overpriced.
32X.
Right? 32X was another prime example. And then, of course, Sega fucking slapped the 32X by bringing out the Saturn right on top of it and fucking cannibalized their business. Sega's the perfect example for these industry guys of what not to fucking do. And that is take your audience for granted, right? That's exactly what they did as well. They thought because they could put their name on it, people would just buy it. And they're like, no, that apparently doesn't work that way. Right?
No, for the general public, it doesn't. I mean, it did for me for a while because I was a diehard Sega guy, and then I became an adult and learned my lesson.
And they finally got stuff right with the Dreamcast, and I thought they were turning a fucking corner, and they gave up on the thing right away.
Yeah. Well, that was because PS2 came out and it had a DVD player. Yep. That's what won that one.
Yep.
Was a DVD player.
DVD movie goer motherfuckers.
Yep. And we all know if whatever has that alternate media player that porn is pumped itself into, that's already winning the game. You know, because if it's not, never mind. I'm not going to get into that. Porn is controlling the media industry, and we're going to go from there. I was going to get political for a second. I'm like, nope.
Win all of the all the polls for they used to do the stats, and was it 80% of people on PlayStation or something would look at porn or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was the web browser on the PS4 or some shit.
Pornhub was hit all the time.
Yeah.
That's how RWK broke his tractor, man. He was looking at porn and he crashed right into the freaking tree.
The DualSense controller was born from masturbation.
Yeah. I mean, the way it vibrates, it can't be beat.
Can you feed it?
Woo!
Yeah, it's a little Japanese tech developer whacking yourself off.
Yep.
There's a reason why the PlayStation 5 is white.
Oh. No stains.
Yeah, the big white beast. Yeah. Oh man. Crazy.
Yeah.
The haptic feedback goes great on those special websites. Yeah, I bet it does.
Oh, haptics.
I wonder why my wife always takes her PlayStation controller to bed. It's always when
Now we know.
Now we know. That's why I got strict drift. Well, this controller is a little bit sticky too.
Shh, that's Mama's secret.
Has Pink Pickles, has she put her Q-tips in her ears already for this portion of the show?
I don't know. I think there's a blood moon going on. She ran outside to go watch it.
Sometimes when Titan Drago will be on the show, Princess Zelda will be behind, she's just kind of shaking her head, what the fuck, you guys, you know?
Just wait. There's more.
There's more. We're just getting started, guys. This is not even the official episode of Gaming After Dark. This was just a panel reveal.
Yeah.
It's like a baby reveal, kind of thing. But yeah.
It's just going to get better from here.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no, it's. I'm excited, like I said, guys, to be back and to be here chatting. This is awesome. I mean, already we're, over an hour and a half in, and it feels like I've been here for 15 minutes.
Yeah, this has been cool, and I got to say, first off, Perry, it's been nice meeting you on this and just working with you. This has been great so far.
Awesome, Proto. Thank you. I used to watch both of you on the Dosage podcast 10 years ago. And again, I never thought I'd be here with you guys. So
Probably fucking
thank you.
up on,
Thank you for
too.
having me, Proto, as well.
Well, now I'm going to go ahead and take my Metamucil and my joint pain medication.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up at this point. I don't think it's like we've kind of opened a can of worms on a lot of discussions that I do want to go in more in depth.
Yeah.
And obviously, each week, like I said, hopefully each one of us will bring something to the table and perhaps a topic that each one of us would really like to discuss, because not always everything that I'm going to discuss is going to be as exciting as something that maybe you guys want to bring to the show. And same thing with the chat. You guys have known from the start, and it's something that makes Gaming After Dark, I think, still one of the very few podcasts out there that does this, and that's acknowledge the chat. We'll read out your comments and commentary and stuff. Don't need super chats to do it. I try my best, and I'm not trying to sly on other podcasts, but everybody started out very similar, and then all of a sudden I've noticed a lot of these channels now, it's like they don't even know you exist unless you're paying them money. And I think that's kind of sad, because I think at the end of the day, none of us get into this for money. I know I certainly didn't. I think it's a bonus if you can make some money at your channel. It's just, it's just above and beyond. It's fantastic, but it's not why I started it. It's not why I'm here, and it's certainly not why I'm coming back. I'm here because, like I said, I enjoy talking gaming. And the one thing I've always said is like I have a lot of friends in my life around me, like in my real life world sort of thing, but most of them don't talk games or know gaming like everybody that's here on this panel and in the chat. And that's why I really enjoy and appreciate this, because I feel like you guys understand and you know what I'm talking about. And, I come from a family where my mother always thought gaming was childish, even though she bought me a lot of games, but she always said it was childish. And she still tells me to this very fucking day. When she hears that I buy a game, she goes, "Are you still spending money on that shit? Haven't you grown up yet?" Mom, I'm like 2 years away from 50. I think I'm growing up now, and I like fucking gaming, okay? What's so bad about it?
Oh, man. When my mother was alive, she was. It wouldn't be so much have you given it up yet. She's just like, "Oh, here we go." And I'm like, all right, ma.
Sometimes it's about who you know. Absolutely. But no, it's really really good to be back and to see a lot of the people in this chat tonight that were fans of the Game Doshis, and they were fans of the Gaming Fuse, and they were fans of the original, Gaming After Dark. I've even reached out to, by the way, Primal Eve. I don't know, but I didn't hear back from her. I don't know what's up with that girl, but she just kind of disappeared. And speaking of people disappearing, and I don't know if anybody in this chat has heard, but if anybody knows anything about Assassin Lupa, please send me a DM, because I've been reaching out to her on many occasions, and I have not heard a single reply or response from her. And it's concerning, because she was a wonderful person. She was a great gamer. She was an awesome friend of this community. She was a panel member on many podcasts. And she fell ill. I know she'd been dealing with a lot of issues with, she had some brain issues and stuff, and she'd had multiple head surgeries over the last couple of years. And I don't know what happened on this last one, but I never heard from her since. I knew she was going into the hospital, and that's as much as I knew. And I've even reached out and asked her husband, and nobody replies. So it's kind of concerning. Like, why wouldn't you at least reply or tell people that are friends of her, is she okay? That sort of thing. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll ask fun speculation. I've reached out to Dealer. I can't even get a hold of Dealer Gaming anymore. I don't know what the deal is with Dealer, but
Oh, wow.
he fucking disappeared, and I'm not getting replies from these people, so it's kind of crazy. I know Dealer's dealing with some stuff himself, and he shut down RDX a while back, and I missed that podcast too. But shout out to everybody that's doing a podcast, and I do mean it honestly, just because it's a passion. It takes a lot of work, and even the simplest of podcasts still have a certain amount of time requirement and effort and things. And anybody who's done a podcast can tell you it might look easy on the outside, but it is not always easy. And some people do it really well. I mean, especially from the production standpoint of things, there's podcasts out there that are just absolutely incredible. Shout out to them for putting in the work. Shout out to people that can podcast and still find enough time to finish and platinum games and still fucking end up streaming games. Shout out to you, man, because I wish I had that much time, but I can't even get through my backlog, let alone do 4 podcasts, stream a game, platinum games. I don't know, and still have a job and a wife and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. But this has been amazing. It's good to be back. And shout out to all the people. Fonz Gaming. Fonz in the house. Holy shit. Fonz
no kidding.
Well, there you go. Talk about a guy who goes way back. TGC. Well, yeah, good to see Fonz in the house. Yeah, Fonzarelli, guys. There you go. Speaking of RDX and a guy who made a big home over there. He's got his own gaming podcast on the go right now, guys. Go check out Fonz if you haven't done so already. Fonz would love to have you on here on the show sometime, my friend, if you got some time. But there we go, guys. So we're going to wrap it up. Well, before we go, I suppose, and before we do some outros and stuff, we should have, let's open the floor some questions, because we do have a few characters standing on by, including Cletus and Safe House Sam. I need some more fiber to clear the backlog. Yeah, don't worry, brother. That happens all the time. Good old Dreadpool. Time for the questions, guys. Drop them in the chat. Panel, you guys can go first if you got something for Cletus or Safe House or whoever it might be. No Handy Andy, guys. He's taking a little hiatus. He may come back in the future for special episodes, but we got Cletus, Safe House, and usually Arnold's around somewhere too.
I gotta make sure. How's Cletus doing?
Oh man.
Well, he's fiddly diddly. It's good to be back. It's been a long time since I was on the podcast and I was talking to all you handsome devils. I mean, my God, this chat's been rocking tonight and I've been having a lot of fun, but I'm very concerned about the gaming industry now because, one time at least buying a game, if I didn't like it, I have a bill coaster, but I'm running out of bill coasters now because everything is digital and comes with a subscription, and I already got enough subscriptions, and then I got to subscribe to the 3 Teeth Dental Network, and I got to subscribe to, I got to get my monthly diapers got to get sent to me so I don't shit myself. I got all that stuff, so, yeah. But it's good to see you guys. The handsome devil Perry up there. He's like a bald Arnold Schwarzenegger, ready to do some Terminator up there. Look at that. And then we got
there it is.
you looks like Proto, but you're pretty sexy fox with a one-eye patch. Yeah, you kind of looks like my drop strap. But there you go.
Oh man. Oh, Cletus. Never stop being Cletus.
It's good to be back. The game doses. I got my own doses, let me tell you. I'm clearing the barrels. Yeah.
I think we had a question come in. Anybody here see the questions? You have to tell me in case I miss them here.
I think Fonz asked a question.
Who?
Fonz? He asked a question up there.
Where'd he go? Where is it?
How do you guys feel about games this generation? I'm sorry. How do you guys feel about this generation of games compared to the previous?
Well, let's you take the floor on this one, Perry. Go ahead. Tell them how you feel about it all.
I wish we had variety, like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 back in the day. We kind of don't have that anymore. I mean, Astrobot gave me some of that, which is really cool, but I don't know, man. I wish you would stop with the big games. You could do the big games, but in between, give me some of the little games. But I'm playing a lot of GameCube and Dreamcast lately, and I got the Polymega. I'm playing that. I'm playing a bunch of old stuff.
Yeah,
I play new stuff too, but nothing to keep me engaged. I've been playing Marvel vs. Capcom Collection, by the way. Pick that up. I grew up in the arcades with those. So.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great collection.
Awesome.
How about yourself, Foxy? What do you think of the current generation of games compared to the ones?
I'm kind of with Perry on this, man. It's like, yeah, I'd kill for some variety. You see all these big AAA things going on, and it's all the same shit. Give me something different. Like I've been in the last gen. I just felt like even then there was still a bit more variety, and it's going back to what I've been playing recently. I've been hooked on Warframe, so, and that has a little bit of everything. And yeah, it's a grind. Yeah, it's free to play. I ain't spent a dime on it, but I'm still having a good time. But that's because there's variety in it. There's different things to do, and it's constantly something to do. And you don't see shit like that anymore. Even with like that whole free-to-play model, we were talking about that earlier. You don't see stuff like that. It's just everybody's got this one track mind when it comes to stuff like that, and it just keeps getting vomited out this gen. And it's just like it just nothing excites me.
Yeah.
It's outside of, like I mentioned, Doom Dark Ages. I mean, Indiana Jones looks cool. I mean, you got a couple of things here and there, but it's all just the same regurgitated crap. Hell, even give me, you like they did with what was it? You mentioned Power Rangers going to be a 16-bit throwback. They did that with Ninja Turtles and Shredder's Revenge. Give us shit like that, and
perfect.
Pump money into that. Give us more. I would kill for like Sony to resurrect fucking Twisted Metal.
Absolutely.
Stuff like that. It's just all the same drivel. And then of course it's that whole, again, arms race. Everything's got to look a certain way. It's got to do certain things this way and that way. It's like you're doing things for the sake of doing certain things now, instead of actually coming up with like interesting engines and gameplay and stuff like that. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Right. Well, for me, it's a tough one to call, right? Because look, I mean, from a technical standpoint, we've never had it so good. I mean, gaming's never looked so good or performed so good. We got a lot of PC style performance in console gaming. The gaps have certainly closed over the years. I mean, that part of it is great. I mean, it's rare now to actually find a game that actually looks horrible. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like the game parity across the board, from graphics to resolutions and just textures and stuff. Like most games now look pretty good. Even like you look at like the small indie developers now are able to create some absolute magic with like less teams and less text stuff. But you know what I mean? That sort of stuff. But the stuff that really I'm drove nuts with this generation is, I mean, the remakes and the reboots are becoming a bit excessive, which kind of tells me that they're stagnant for ideas. But again, stagnatism for ideas largely comes out of the fact that games are taking 4 to 5 years to develop. And when you spend $200 million and you take 5 years to make a game and it comes out in bombs, aka something like Concord, I mean, it's not hard to see why companies don't want to take those kind of risks. So what they're going to have to do, the risks they're going to have to take, is what they should do is hire smaller teams of indie devs to make, say, new IPs and then grow them into big IPs. I mean, it's not hard for an indie dev now to make a 5-hour game and build on something there and then make it bigger as it grows, right? And not take the big financial plunge up front. You can promote it like a AAA. It just doesn't have to come with the AAA development costs and the AAA all that stuff that goes along with it. So that sort of stuff has to be looked at. Like I said, I'm so tired of season passes and things like that. Every time I see this stuff, I think that's just exploitation of gamers. It's kind of almost like laziness. You don't want to make a new game, so you just keep adding fucking same, more peanuts to the same old pile of shit, and then charging like so much money for it. Like, this stuff is not cheap. I mean, the fact that nobody's even fact checked, or what do you call it, like even just money checked something like the microtransactions in Fortnite, for example, they're astronomical at this point. It's stupid. You could buy levels and maps of games with characters and skins on 360 and PS3 DLC back in the day, the same price that you're paying for one fucking Fortnite skin. It's astronomical. People are buying it up by the droves. And again, we keep setting these dangerous precedents to these companies because we're telling them that it doesn't matter what you'll charge, we're going to buy it. And again, this is where people got to put their foot down. It's the reason why when a game comes out that notoriously had campaigns and they get rid of the campaigns because it's going to save them some money, I like to be like, you know what? I'm not buying your game, because you used to always give us campaigns and now you're not. And the last thing that I'm really tired of, and this goes for all the companies in general, and Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft more so than anybody, is listen to your fans. When we're telling you what you should be making, why aren't you making it? Okay. Obviously, older gamers spend a lot of money on games, and we still have a very big tie to nostalgia, right? A lot of us even still go up and buy all the new Sonic games, even though a lot of them aren't really all that great, but we buy them because it's a nostalgia, and we know the property. You know what I mean?
I'm one of them.
Sonic Superstars wasn't bad. What was that Sonic one, the 3D World one that came out like 2 years?
Frontiers.
Like that was pretty good, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But we need more stuff like that, and I'm just like Sony, right? Here they go and they bomb with Concord. But what are a couple of properties that Sony fans actually really love that would like to see brought back? They could have done a new and improved Killzone, which was more like the original 2 Killzones, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That would have done well. And they could have, and most importantly, probably one of their biggest properties that was huge during the PS2 era and somewhat to the PS3 was SOCOM, right?
Yep.
With
SOCOM,
military shooters are some of the hottest properties on the planet. No matter what you make, people seem to love military shooters. And if they did SOCOM properly, and I'm telling you right now, with Insomniac's background, because they did this Resistance, right? And if you guys remember, the Resistance multiplayer was actually quite fun. It played
I remember that one.
It looked freaking good. So you got a company like Insomniac take a property like SOCOM and actually make a good damn shooter. Like, this is the stuff I'm saying. It's writing on the wall. It's like when you've got the resources there, but you don't want to use them because you want to make whatever, I don't know, DEI fucking inclusive bullshit games that you're trying to do. Like, that's the stuff that turns me off of this industry. Instead of catering to the people that are going to buy and make your property successful, you're catering to people that don't give a shit. Those same people only spend money on the same fucking 4 or 5 games each and every year, and that's what they got to stop doing.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better. I right there with you. But then again, you mentioned old PlayStation properties. Like I said, I'm going to wave the flag for Twisted Metal until I'm in the grave.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Twisted Metal would do well with the right company behind it. With the characters, I mean, the show seemed to hit a nerve. People seem to like the show.
Yeah,
great.
Hell, I even got $1 million fucking crossover idea for it too. You put out your Twisted Metal, right, and then your first round of DLC, because I'm a fucking nerd. Give us Transformers. Boom. There's money. Nice. There's money. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And we had a question earlier. I forget who asked it, but it's something about Arnold, something about Trump dodging bullets. Well, Arnold's response to that is, I just wanted to tell you now that it is unofficial. But Donald Trump is part of the Matrix and he can dodge bullets. Okay, that's what he's doing out there. He's dodging on the bullets. He's going to continue to dodge the bullets. You could shoot that guy with the rocket launcher. He's still going to dodge it. So I'm telling you right now, he is the next generation version of Neo, and he's here to kick your ass and to dodge all the bullets.
And then he'll get to the chopper.
Can we get an update on the maids, Arnold?
The maids are doing really, really well. I mean, at my age now, I'm having a very hard time keeping it up for very long, so I don't really get engaged with them too much anymore. As long as they come out to defeat the donkeys and they put the cookies on the table, then I am very good with everything. That's all I need from the maids. I mean, I know, like I said, I'm self-sufficient anymore now. And a workout for me now is spending 2 minutes in the washroom to spank the monkey.
Oh, damn.
There you go.
And that's Arnold, everybody. That's his thoughts on the whole thing.
Yeah, Nate says Insomniac might not be good for SOCOM, and maybe not. But I'm just saying, like everything that Insomniac touches, it seems like it's gold. Like they just seem to have a thing for play control and a tightness and a very good polish. And just because, again, I really thought the Resistance shoot. I mean, that was back in the early days of Insomniac, and they were doing that shooter with Resistance, and it was awesome. So to think that they couldn't do a military shooter, I wouldn't put it past them. These guys are extremely talented, and I've said this a billion times on most of my podcasts, as how come a team like Insomniac continue to create so many properties within a run of a small amount of time, and other people are taking 10 fucking years and they can barely put up a Picasso drawing. You know what I mean?
And there it is, man. I mean, it's question of the century when it comes to gaming.
What do you think of it? Sunset Overdrive. Right after that was Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Miles Morales. What did they do? They did the Ratchet and Clank, A Rift Apart. I think they even did even in that length of time, wasn't the original remake of Ratchet and Clank off the PS4? Like, I mean, most of these games all came out within, 5 or 6 years in total, right?
Yeah.
So, so that's what I'm talking about. It's like you got these studios that seem to get shit done, and people can say, yes, it's copy and paste, and we get it. I mean, that's why like games like God of War and God of War Ragnarok turned around a lot faster, because it's essentially more of the same. But the thing is, it's like this is probably what the industry needs, and it's going to have to happen. Is with graphics plateauing, you're not going to get an entirely new feeling game every time something launches, because it just takes too much time. You're going to have to reuse a lot of those resources, and you're going to have to, again, you don't have to fucking reinvent the wheel every time you build a game. You just got to make a game bigger and better. Astrobot, the new game that came out, is not a reinventing the wheel. It's not largely different than the Astrobot games, or than even the one that was built, that was coupled in with the PlayStation 5 to begin with. But it is longer. It has more like diverse levels. It has newer mechanics. Again, and a lot of the Mario games, same thing. They didn't reinvent the wheel, but they're fantastic games. And I think the whole industry as a whole needs to take notice of some of that, because I think we'd rather have more than wait fucking 1/4 of a fucking century to get a new game.
Yeah, it's everybody's stuck on being revolutionary, and they forgot about what gaming is. Gaming is fun.
Absolutely. The way we all move on from games nowadays, anyway, who fucking really cares? It was revolutionizes the industry, Like, honestly, how long did we take between Hellblade 1 and 2? What was it, like 7 years?
Yeah.
Honestly, it didn't need to be 7 years for that fucking game. Sorry. Right?
I wouldn't be sorry about it. It didn't need to take 7 years.
I mean, the game was still under 10 hours, and it certainly didn't reinvent the fucking wheel. I mean, it looks a little better, but still, like, the first Hellblade was built in with less team, less budget, and then less time. The next game got a bigger budget, bigger team, and fucking took triple the time. Do you know what I mean? We got another super chat. Perry, you want to take this one? It comes in from our good friend RWK88. He drops another $1.99.
RWK with a $1.99 super chat. Thanks for not reading from the script from Redmond, Newf. Well, there you go.
No problem, man. I don't read
a lot of podcasts are reading from a script. Apparently.
Oh yeah. No scripts on this show. It's impromptu, baby.
No scripts, 100% live, and maybe we'll even forget something here and there.
Well, I forget stuff every day.
I do too. Like why I went into the kitchen.
It's getting really bad when you go in the washroom and take a shit and forget why you're there.
Yeah. And then you lost a half hour and wonder where the time went.
Hey, get on your cell phone, like, oh yeah, I didn't need to shit after all. I just got to check my Twitter account.
Oh, that's what that was coming out the backside. I didn't know I had to come do that in here today.
Jesse Darby, in all fairness, Astrobot may have certainly borrowed certain ideas or similarities to Mario, but at the same time, how many games did Mario imitate or borrow from? Like, the whole industry is just nothing but games imitating other games at the end of the day. How many military shooters?
The new Kirby game. The new Kirby game ripped off The Last of Us.
Right?
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's like a post-apocalyptic Kirby game. Like, come on.
Well, it was all about lesbian blowjobs? What was it?
Well, I mean, Kirby likes to suck, so you never know.
I was going to say Kirby's a freak.
And he's
and RWK88, yeah, it's more like 15 minutes for me, but your time may vary.
Absolutely. Guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. Like I said, we're gonna come back. Like I said, bigger and better, and we'll have we'll have our standard podcast starting on the 1st of October. Again, I want to thank everybody. Sathius, how are you there, brother? Good to see you. So many good to see so many amazing faces in this chat tonight, starting with Stinking Corpse and Dreadpool and RWK and Splendiferous and Jesse Darby has been here. Joe Dunmore and the Mag stopped by tonight. Even got Fonz in the chat. Good to see him here. Like the list goes on, guys. You're amazing. Talos Ray. Man, it's good to see you. Hopefully Timothy Dixon and those guys. Iceman was here, and Eternal Shaddai showed up tonight. Cyber Gunter's been here, and Zarek. I mean, so many great people, guys. Like I said, you are what makes the show, worthwhile, and for us to, stay up, and do this shit, man. Just amazing, great introduction. Two phenomenal guys. I think the support in the chat already shows that I think I picked two winners for this amazing program. And I can't wait to get this thing officially off the ground October the 1st. We'll be back like it's Gaming After Dark, guys. And hopefully this year or for the rest of this year, well into next year, there's more giveaways and stuff on behalf of the channel. I love doing contests and giving it away and love to give away free copies of shit. Actually, I don't have much choice because up here in Canada, I can't give you guys a fucking code and vice versa because somebody in PlayStation and Xbox land decided because of the tax system, you can't fucking send codes anywhere. So that kind of sucks balls. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know how many times I've been gifted codes from the States and I can't use them because they don't allow it. So, which makes even less sense because your money's worth more than ours, so technically it's like giving me extra. Not like down if I'm sending the opposite way, it's worth less. Like if I send you a $5 Canadian super chat, you're probably getting like about $3.20 of that.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's brutal.
Right? Well, you guys send me a $3 super chat, and I probably get $5. You know what I mean?
Well, I got the shop, Newf, so if you ever want to do giveaways, let me know. I got extra stuff I could give away.
No problem.
I can actually send people physical
love doing
stuff.
it. I remember one time I went into the Dollarama and they had a shit pile of Titanfall 2 games for Xbox. And I bought up like a boatload of them. I gave them away on the show. It was great.
Nice.
The sad part was I paid less for the games than I did for the damn shipping.
That's true.
The shipping of those damn things. Damn. But anyway, man, it's good to see everybody here. You guys are amazing. Let's start with the bottom, work our way to the top. Foxy, just let people know how they can catch up with you on social media, or perhaps if you do have a channel or anything that you'd like to share. And hopefully, like I said, we'll see you here on the 1st of October.
Yeah, can't wait for October 1st. Anybody who enjoys my rambling here, I do have a YouTube channel. It's just Proto Foxy. I'm gonna get back into getting gameplay stuff on there. Because I started to a bit and then got discouraged because I was the couple of games I put up there kind of flopped, but that's the algorithm and all that shit. I'm going to get back to it, but I ramble on about toys and Magic the Gathering and shit like that there. Sometimes I put up some dumb shit with me on the bike and whatever. So I'm there. Twitter, Foxy Proto. That's the @ it's Proto Foxy. Other than that, Xbox is Proto Foxy, PlayStation's Happy Emo Puncher, Steam is Wicked Lance. So that's where you can find me if you want to catch me for any games. Right now I'm in Warframe. So anybody plays Warframe, come find me. Other than that, I had a blast, man, and I'm glad to be a part of this, and I'm glad to be working with you guys.
Awesome. Well, starting on the 1st of October, I will put everybody's links and all your tags and stuff for all the social media and stuff in the chats each and every week, so people can catch up with you there if they miss it here. And I always say again, Perry, thanks for everything, the support, and it's glad that it could come full circle and I could get you as a panel member on this show. So it's glad to hear you here, have your input, your insight. And it's just been a great first introductionary panel. So, like I said, happy to have you here, man. But let people know who aren't really familiar with what you're throwing down is where they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube, The Game Complainers on YouTube. We do a show every Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We try to start at 9:30. Sometimes we're late. That's pretty much it. I'm on Twitter, Game Complainers, but with a Z because somebody took the other one. I'm on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network, Game Complainers, one word. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so go check out his channel and check out his Xbox Series X demolishing of a table.
That's right.
It was quite funny. He had a massive...
So I was paid by the chat room to smash an Xbox Series X brand new out of the box.
Yes, he did.
I had gotten one from Walmart for $3.49. And the chat room, dude, I was like, hey, I'll smash this thing. And they just threw the money in the super chats. I was like, oh, so I'm doing this.
Dude,
so I smashed it. And I also accidentally smashed my table, too. So it cost me $50.
I got to give the Series X some credit, man. You were whacking that thing, and that fucking thing was holding pretty solid for a while.
Oh, it was. But the best part is,
granite.
I got to keep the NVMe because it still works. That's I got 1 terabyte of storage. And Frank was with me, and he smashed it a few times. I think Frank did more damage to that thing than I did.
Yeah, when you hit the fucking table, and then the video you posted after of Anthony just cracking it, that was fucking funny in itself.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, he missed it, and he puts the big hole in the table.
Well, my wife is watching this, and I put a hole in the table, and I'm just like, oops, because I know I'm dead. And then she just starts laughing. She thought it was fun. I was like,
yeah, that was the best.
I intended to do that.
Yeah, next is probably smashing Sony TV. Yeah, no doubt.
I think
I know what's going to happen. He's gonna smash some Fire Sticks for you. Well,
hey, I'll smash a PS5 Pro if they want. I mean, I'll do anything as long as the chat pays for this shit.
Put a fire. Here you go. Here's a surefire burner for you. Stick a Fire Stick in a condom and put up your ass.
Not my ass, but Phil Spencer can keep doing that if he likes.
That'd be what we call Xbox Game Ass.
For $20 a month.
Could you imagine someone doing a video on that? Though? Holy fuck, it'd be funny.
I'm sure
somebody probably is. Yeah, you know what? If anybody would do that, it'd be Ricky Berwick. Fuck, he'd do that, I'm sure.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Ricky Berwick does the weirdest ass shit I've ever seen in my life. Oh man, you guys know Ricky Berwick? Yeah, he's Canadian too, which I found out not too long. I was thinking, nah, damn, yeah, figures a Canadian is gonna be weird. All the weird people come to Canada. That's why Newf Nukem's here. But anyway, guys, it's been an amazing show. Go follow these two amazing individuals. At some point, we may still be open to adding another panel member, but for the time being, we're going to keep it at 3, see how things go over the course of a few months, and just kind of leave options open. And sometimes it's good to have the extra people, just because I know that, life happens and you can't always be here each and every week. And I always find sometimes, especially when you got to do a podcast by yourself, it gets a little bit lonely and odd. You kind of at least want 2 most of the time. But anyway, we'll consider that down the road, because I have to talk to these guys and see how we feel about things. And if another person comes along that we feel has just good chemistry and would make a good fit, I think we'll consider it. In the meantime, for everybody in the chat, if you have any feedback about the show, or things you'd like to hear, or things you'd like to see, please, send me a DM via Twitter or the X app, whatever you like to call it these days, or maybe on Xbox or PlayStation. And and I do have one more, I guess, slight announcement. So starting when the podcast starts up, I'm going to try our best to try to keep this show at least 2 hours or less. And one of the reasons for that is when the show wraps, I'm going to have basically a game night with Newf. So essentially, as after the show wraps, I'm probably going to stream something, and hopefully some of those times streaming, it's going to be like a co-op game or something like that, where we can jump in and play some stuff and stream it out with the community. I think that would be phenomenal. And I think it'll just work because, since I got everything going on a Tuesday night, hey, let's jump in and play some late night gaming, I guess you could say. So Sathius is asking who's getting a PS5 Pro. Well, I think I know one guy in this panel that's already getting one, but not this guy down here.
I think the only way it's going to be bought is if it's super chatted for smashing purposes.
Yeah, Foxy goes up and buys it and ships it to Perry. Here's smash.
Yeah.
Can I just defend myself for 1 minute? I'm not spending cash on this thing. I traded in 4 of my PlayStation 5s. Okay, 2 digitals, which, by the way, I got all my money back in store credit. I paid $17 to rent 2 of those digital consoles for 3.5 years. Okay, yeah. And then my other one, my disc one, I got $410 for it. So I technically rented it for $89 for 3 years. I think that's a good idea, right?
Well, I mean, hell, that's a return on investment, I would suppose.
Exactly. I traded it in while it was still worth something, and until it like depreciated in value, and then I was really screwed. So I got rid of that stuff. I now have $2,100 in GameStop credit. And they're about to go out of business.
If you're going to do it, I think the way you're doing it is a smart way to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
No cash.
I know a lot of guys in the community. I think that's already what I'm seeing is they're trading in some of the consoles they're not using. So, like, at the end of the day, if you're not paying money, I mean, that's Newfonomics. I mean, that's how Newf Nukem's always gotten a lot of new consoles, is by trading a shit ton to the other consoles, right? Newfonomics. So there you go.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, if it works, it works.
Yeah, man. I'm like I said, I'm not hating on anybody. You want to buy one and you want to spend whatever you want to spend. I mean, heck, I fucking spent $800 Canadian on PSVR 2. I love it, but do I still think it was overpriced? Fuck yeah.
I built PCs. I do everything. I got everything. I already know all this stuff. Everyone's like, "Oh, just build a PC." I got it. I got a 4070 Super. I'm good.
I paid
$40.90
something dollars Canadian for a PSVR 2, and Sony's legitimately only made one actual game for it.
Right.
What was that called? The Horizon Call of the Mountain? No, sorry. They made they made GTA. They did give it a VR mode, but they didn't make the game from the ground up for VR. Right. And I think, what was the other game? I think they did the Firewall one, which was published by Sony.
Yeah, something like that.
Legitimately, there's no support for this fucking thing from the company that built it. It drives me absolutely bonkers. It's like you would sell this thing a lot more if you guys fucking thought ahead and actually built games that ran and looked really good on it. Like right now, the Meta Quest went out and fucking money had it, that new Batman game, and the reviews on it are amazing. Like, I almost want to buy a Meta Quest just to play that fucking Batman game. It looks insane, but that's not coming to PlayStation. It's like, what the hell?
Real quick before we cut this off, because I can't type into the chat right now. I got to answer RWK88. Yes, I got Master Chief as my pick on Xbox.
There you go.
Yeah, because I'm reading through the chat, but I can't because I'm on my phone right now. I can't type and do multitask. I got to fix that. So, but yes, I'm answering that guy's question. So I didn't mean to cut you guys off. I apologize.
Yes. You guys also remember as well, it's Perry's a game store owner, so he has a few different perks, I guess, and insider information, different things that most of us don't have. So,
not really. Although I did, I'll tell you a funny story before we go. When the Switch was leaked out that it was going to be a portable, this kid came in with his mom, and they're talking about buying games or whatever. And the mother was like, "Hey, is this thing portable?" I was like, "Yeah, it's going to be portable." And the kid's like, "Nope, those are rumors. Those are rumors." I was like, "I don't know, man. It's all over the internet." "Oh, no, those are rumors." And the kid started fighting with me. His mother stopped him.
Right.
And basically what happened was the kid comes back after it was announced as a portable. He goes, "Yeah, I'm just building a PC." Done.
Great. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have a show one of these days. It's like stories from the world of a retail game shop.
I got too many crazy ones.
Good. I'd love to hear them sometime.
Oh yeah, that's definitely got to be a segment.
I even have surveillance footage. I can't show you that on the air. But
oh.
All right. Well, we definitely got to hear some stories at some point down the road. That'll be awesome. Yeah, I mean, like you said, PlayStation Portal, I wasn't planning to buy one of those, but I bought one, and, I'm glad I did. I've been using it actually quite a bit because I'm upstairs in my bedroom, and my PlayStation 5's in the basement, and so a lot of times I just don't want to go down to fire everything up, you know what I mean? So I've just been playing a lot of games off of my Portal. I played most of my Astrobot has actually been coming off the PlayStation Portal, and for the most part, other than a little bit of lag, which I think is more on my shitty-ass internet provider, it's been a pretty positive experience, and I love it. I think the device is just phenomenal, and I kind of crapped on it at first. And the only downside to me personally with the PlayStation Portal is it's just too bad it didn't have at least some sort of memory inside where you could download at least 1 or 2 games to the unit and just play natively without needing a connection. If they had done that, the thing would have been near perfect. Yeah. Even a small amount of memory, like 512 fucking gigabytes at best, at least put 1 or 2 of your favorite games on, delete them if you got to, or have them been able to put a little memory card in it or something. But they didn't, so I don't know. But anyway, who knows? Maybe there's a PS Vita 2 on the horizon. I would love to see it. I would probably buy one. I am interested. I'm interested more in an Xbox portable at this point than I would be of a of another Xbox actually full-fledged
Start
console.
saving your money now.
Yeah, probably, because I'm hearing there's probably one coming.
Yeah. I don't think
But
that
anyway.
price tag is me friendly, but start saving, everybody.
Yeah, we've had a great show, guys. Sorry to
Yep.
ramble on, but yeah, like I said, we had a lot of fun, and we'll be back on October the 1st. Again, thank you, Foxy, and thank you, Perry, and to everybody in the chat. You guys are amazing. Again, keep it, like I said, this is our time slot, 9:30 Eastern, Tuesday nights, starting October the 1st. Gaming After Dark is back, baby. Boom, boom, kaboom. Signing off. Have yourself a great night, everybody.